My name is Rajvatan Singh Rathour, and I'm UK's first Sikh model.
Originally born in Patiala, India, Rajvatan moved with his parents and sister to Southall in 2006, where he commenced his secondary education. He then further went on to do his bachelor's and master's in international politics. Along the way, he started modelling and has been featured in Kush magazine, modelled for Primark, and appeared in Diljit Dosanjh's El Sueno music video. He is representing Sikhs in a way they have never been before, and is part of a movement which is changing the modelling industry. I met up with him on Southall Broadway, a one-stop destination for Western fashion wear, to discuss all things modelling, life, and the principles behind everything he does. What was it that you wanted to achieve by the end of your studies?
The end of study, what I wanted to get into was academics, and which is what I'm doing right now as well. And in regards to academics, I do want to carry on studying, so I do want to do PhD. I want to be a doctorate in a certain specific field in regards to literature or humanities.
What are you most passionate about?
My work is my passion, what I'll say. So for example, in regards to modelling, which is work for me, I consider it a massive passion for myself, simply because it doesn't just give me, as what everyone says, it allows you to express yourself and represent. But I feel representing the community is one thing, but representing myself as an individual is another thing. That's what it's allowed me to do. And also with the modelling and everything as a passion, it's actually allowed me to appreciate not just my own culture, the background I come from, but even others as well, and be able to sort of mould it and make it sort of bring it all together and style yourself up in a certain way, which makes you stand out. And that's the best thing about it.
How does it feel to be the UK's first Sikh model? Because that's quite a title.
It is a title, but at the same time, I wouldn't say it's daunting. It's not daunting in a sense because it could be coming across as responsibility, but the thing is, it could have been anyone. It's just what I see it as by chance. It happened to be me. Yes, I do appreciate that. I do appreciate the fact that that is something that I've achieved, but at the same time, I feel like there's a lot more to do. The work doesn't end here, and that's just me as a person in general. I like to not be settled with what I have already or what I've achieved. I like to go further, and it's my family, my close ones. They always say the fact that you're going to end up exhausting yourself by not being in content or being happy about what you've achieved. But for me, I think like there's a difference between being happy, which makes you sort of a bit like complacent, and that's not what I want to be at. That's not the kind of stage I want to be at. I don't want to be complacent at any point. Hence why I always think that anything I get or anything I do through modelling or through creative arts, it's just another step. It's just another step. I know the fact that, and that's the best thing about creative industry, the fact that there is no end to creativity. And hence why I know the fact that anything I do, that is not it. There's more to it. There's so much to it. And because obviously coming back to the creative industry, which is always being explored by us as a community as well. At the same time, I feel like the title that is given or that I've achieved, let's say, at the end of the day, it's something I know the fact that I need to take forward as well at the same time, and not just sort of leave it as like, oh yeah, I've done that, that's it now. So I need to make sure the fact that I need to carry on working.
How was it that you got into modelling? Where did it all begin?
It was by chance. It was purely by chance. One of my best friends, he actually recommended me to one of his friends who was doing a photography degree in University of Hertfordshire. And so my best friend, his name is Nolihal. I would like to say his name for sure because he's one person. He has sort of guided me in every single way possible. And so Nolihal, so he made sure that I get into that project. And that project was conducted by this photographer called Manpreet Malli. And when she was doing this research on how you can work with a Sikh model, in fashion industry, so she started doing her project and stuff. And then from there on, I think it was about 2014, or 5 years ago. So that's where it all started from. And I was in university at the time myself, just a student. Just thought, why not give it a chance? Just go and see, have fun. Basically, it wasn't something that was like, oh, am I seriously that good looking, or like, is it seriously the fact that do I fit that criteria? I just thought it would be a fun day. Let's just try it.
Have you ever felt any pressure to look or portray a certain image?
Not really, never, because I think once you start thinking about that, once you start sort of consciously behaving in the way the fact that, oh, I need to be like this, I need to be like that, I think that's what takes out the real you, yourself. Because what's the point then? I mean, one thing I would say is the fact that yes, wearing a dastar, wearing a pug, it comes with certain responsibilities which no one should ignore if you are wearing a pug or dastar. But at the same time, I think a lot of people forget the fact that even us wearing pagga and us wearing dastar, we are a person of ourselves, like we are an individual. So hence why I think those individual traits, as long as they're not negative, they could be in some people's eyes, but at the same time I try to make sure the fact that I don't let that pressure be built upon me, and just make sure I just try to be my true self.
Have you ever felt that you may not get a modelling job because of your bug?
To be honest, that's what makes me special, because that's what makes me exclusive, the fact that I will only do certain selective projects. And if I do those selective projects, that's what's going to make the project stand out even more. So I don't see it as something like, oh, I might not get this because I'm wearing a pug. If I don't get it, I don't get it. That's just how it is. The person behind the project could have different reasons for it. One could be the fact that because of pug, but that's them, I guess. If people are not outrightly discriminating in today's world, they try to be obviously a bit crafty in the way they put their reasons to you. But just in general, I don't think that makes me feel anything. It doesn't make me feel let down, simply because I feel like, okay, if I don't do this one, I'll do the next one or a different one. And that one will stand out because of the fact that I'm only doing that one. So it makes me feel special, if anything.
Have you ever suffered any bullying or discrimination?
Yes, I have. During my high school years, when walking on the street, some people just going by in the car saying the fact that have you got a sore head because I'm wearing a podcast. And it's like subtle racism that you can sort of come across, or subtle bullying that you can come across as well, which is not outrightly said to you that we are behaving like this with you because of the fact that you're wearing a padka or a pug. But it's just the behavior says quite a bit. And like, for example, not being offered to sit on the same table as someone else, because it's a group of friends that tends to sit together, usually on a dinner table in high school. And I just happened to just sit one day on that same table, but I didn't realize the fact that that's where they're supposed to sit. And I don't even know, in a school canteen apparently your seats are reserved under a certain group of friends. And it was purely because I realized the fact that it was purely because of the fact that because I was wearing podcast.
You seem so strong in terms of not feeling pressured. Have you ever felt negative towards yourself, and has it affected you personally?
See, bullying is something I had faced since day one. Even in India, I would say that, because like I lived from one state to another, so each of my academic year was in a different state. So I was in Bombay, I've been in Indore, I've been in Rajasthan, I've been to all these states, and each of my academic year was in a different state. And each state had a different response to me. I was bullied even in India for the fact that I was wearing padka, because I wasn't in Punjab, I was outside Punjab. And maybe being one of the few sardars in the school, you can be targeted still. And I was targeted as well for it. So then that's something I just knew that's going to come along my way. But it's what you said, the fact that like I seem to be strong about it. I think it's more about the fact that experiences has made me strong. It's not that I'm innately strong. I mean, I still get nervous, I still get pressurized, I still feel the stress, but it's more about the fact that whether if you allow your experiences, if you turn your experiences into strength, that's what's going to make you stand out more. But if you allow your experiences to take over and pressurize you, then what's the point?
What does wearing the star mean to you as an individual?
As an individual, I would say it makes me feel like it gives me the sense of self-autonomy, because that's what the whole point of wearing the star was. It was made for someone that's a leader within themselves. So I look at it from cultural and obviously the religion background I come from, because the star was more about you being able to make sure the fact that you lead a group of people. However, that changed. Obviously, the Sikh Dharm changed that into the fact that, well, Guru Gobind Singh Ji obviously made sure the fact that everyone wears the star. In fact, all the gurus made sure the fact that that happens, and that culture of wearing a pug, the star, is just simply because of the fact that it makes me feel self-autonomous, and that's how I feel. It makes me feel so special and different.
What's the biggest challenge you faced, generally speaking?
Biggest challenge?
Can be anything.
Biggest challenge would be the fact that I think I tend to overthink a lot. I tend to overthink about my work. I tend to overthink the fact that I'm not doing enough. I also tend to overthink the fact that I'm not good at this particular thing at the moment. I need to get better, which is a good thing in one aspect, from one side of the vision. The other side, it's like, because if you keep on thinking that way, then you're just going to sort of exhaust yourself to the point that you would never be satisfied. So I think I need to start learning how to be in content, but at the same time keep working harder.
So you've become the face of a Primark campaign. How is that, and how did it start?
Well, to be honest, I think I would like to give more of that credit to my friend Raja Sapra. Raja Sapra has been like blogging for quite some time now, and he's been a face of a lot of brands as well. Or he's sort of like making sure the fact that he represents the community in the most positive way possible. So the whole project itself was a collaboration with him and the brand. So he just sort of suggested the fact that, you know what, Raj, this is what I've got. Do you want to collaborate? Shall we work together? And I have worked with him before, previously as well. And the vibration and the environment which every time we've worked together that he creates, or the way we sort of correlate with each other, it's always been amazing. So hence why even this Primark, as soon as he said, do you want to do it? I said, why not? It'll be a great experience. And then him being that bridge to the brand itself, and not just a bridge for myself, but I think a lot of people as well. Two of the other girls who were part of this whole campaign as well, Jaskirat and Pam. So both of them, they obviously, all of us, the four of us, we had a really, really good time, I think. And that's why I would say, like, taking part in Primark, the brand itself, it was an amazing experience. So yeah.
How's the response been so far to the Primark campaign?
The response has been amazing. Not just for the fact that like we've been able to represent, but at the same time, from an individual aspect, it's like they really, really liked the fact that how the brand is now taken upon, you know, Sardars who are wearing pagga, got dadi and everything like that, because it's something that was never seen before. I would say, like, I don't know, like 12 to 14 years ago, but it's been a massive change in the fashion industry, and I think more and more people are coming together. It's given a lot of people hope as well. That's another thing. I think something like this, it gives a lot of people hope as well. And I do speak to people who do approach me the fact that, like, listen, bro, like, how can we get into this, or how can we try this and stuff. And my only advice to those people is the fact that just keep on shooting, keep on working, keep on doing it. It will take some time, but you'll find your niche, and that's the thing, and that's what these brands look for you to be the best at something that you know you can represent well, and that's the response I've got so far. It's been overwhelming, to be honest.
Since the launch of the campaign, have any other companies contacted you for modelling work?
Well, at the moment, no. So it hasn't been the case of where I have been contacted in any way. But actually, no. Thing is that there's been a ongoing project with Moss Bros, so which I did earlier, but like I'm supposed to do another one now with Moss Bros. So yeah, I think that could be sort of related with it. So Moss Bros is another brand which has approached me, which wants to collaborate and work with me as well. So let's see how that goes.
How do you feel about the modelling industry, in particular the Western industry?
I think Western industry is expanding more towards East now. That's the thing. It's not staying West anymore. It's more expanding itself to East and almost even to the South as well, because you have so many magazine covers that are being filled with not the Western sort of people from Western background, but rather people from a background of Middle East, people from background of South Asia, people from background from Africa, so on and so forth. So that just tells you the fact that the fashion industry, like I said earlier, the fact that there is no end to creativity. And people are coming with that, everyone's coming eye to eye now, to the point that, okay, this is what works. Because at the end of the day, and this is the advice I give to a lot of Sardar boys that try to speak to me, and they're like asking, like, how do we do this? I'm like, just remember one thing, it's not about you being able to fit into every single thing, or every single outfit, every single look. It's about which look fits you the best. And that's exactly what the fashion industry has started to do. They've started to recognize that this is the kind of person on whom this will look the best. And they've truly sort of started to come about that and trying to make the fashion industry more and more diverse now.
Do you think there's enough diversity and representation in the modelling industry?
I think it's been a good start just recently. I mean, someone like Rajvatan Singh Rathour, I would definitely like to mention. Like, I have a massive respect for that person, because, and generally I would say this, like, I tend to look up to him so much, a lot actually. The way he styles himself, the way he is in his shoes, the look he has, everything. So yeah, I think he has provided with big inspiration for a lot of people. And someone like even Pradeep, so Singh Street Style, even himself as well, he's given a lot of vision to people who can become bloggers, if not models, but bloggers, right? So that's something that I've seen, and even though he has modeled for very, very good brands, but people like themselves and Waris Ahluwalia especially, I would say, they've given a huge scope to Sikh community and Sardars. So yeah.
So for Waris, his first big campaign was the Gap campaign. What did you feel when you saw it?
I mean, Gap campaign was the campaign that sort of came into a lot of people's eyes, is what I would say. So when that came in under people's like vision and sort of thoughts, and they were like, wait, what just happened? Got a lot of obviously criticism as well, but a lot of positive feedback was given as well. For me, it was just the fact that I think this is the time. I think it's the time where people are going to start seeing a Sikh model. And for him to do what he did, I think kudos to him, to be honest, because he himself he seems to be very well educated from what I've followed upon up until now in regards to his work and what he says. So because of that, I feel like what he did, he knew exactly what he was doing.
After seeing that Gap campaign, was there that glimmer of hope that I can do this too?
See, the thing is, I never knew the fact that I'm going to go into this. So this was, Waris Ahluwalia had happened way before. So I was just like, I literally went, for the first ever shoot I'd ever had, it was just a fun day. I never actually thought I'm going to go into this. So yeah, and then I mean, and then obviously when I started looking into more of his work, then I was like, you know, maybe like something can be done. But just not just him. I look for inspiration all around. There's a very famous, well for me, he's quite famous, Indonesian model. His name is Kiwi Mono. One of my friends actually introduced me to him through social media and stuff. And he's someone that I look up to in terms of his style. He's amazing. He's an amazing model, and he's very quirky, very stylish. So like, in that sense, I think the scope I get or the hope I get, right, is through not just one particular type of model. It's through anyone that I can come across. So yeah.
So who are your top 3 most inspirational people?
Okay. My mum, my daddy, and my nanny.
Why those 3 people?
Because all I've seen amongst those 3 women is strength, and having compassion for your loved ones around you, having that strive to achieve the best and to work hard, having those sentiments regarded to your work or anything that you do, but at the same time being bold enough, strong enough to stand for yourselves.
There is a stigma attached towards modelling within the Asian Indian community, and it's not always seen in a positive light. Have you ever experienced any negativity from friends or family about your modelling work?
I get that till day. I actually get that till day. Not necessarily in a way to put me down, or they could be being genuine. I just take it as like they're just joking, simply because I know I'm gonna do what I do. Because like obviously, I mean, yeah, you do get like friends, family members who might think that, not so much family members, more friends, who obviously try to pull your leg a bit. And there are some people who genuinely don't like what I do as well, not necessarily my friends, but the people I just know in general. So they might not really appreciate the work I do, or might not make sense out of what I'm doing. That happens at all times. The point is, it's what I like, and I'm going to continue doing what I like.
Is there any advice that you would give to particularly those that are from Asian, Indian, Sikh backgrounds that are wanting to enter the modelling industry, but they're too afraid to really strive for what they want because of these ideas within the community?
I think there's 3 things. For a Sikh person who wants to be a model, for a Sardar Munda who wants to be a model, or even a Sardarni Kudi who wants to be a model, there's 3 things that I would like to mention for them specifically. Something my granddad always says to me, my dadaji always says to me. There's 3 things that determines a lot about someone's personality. 1, they're the star, so the way the bug is tied. 2, as in if it's tied basically in a very strong way possible. It could be any, obviously, because there's different shapes and different types. So if you tie your bug with pride, that determines your personality. The way you speak, if you speak in a very calm and very confident way, that determines a lot of things about you as a personality. And raftar, so the star is the bug, guftar is the way you speak, raftar is the way you walk. So your walk and the way you are on a daily basis, the way you pace yourself with responsibilities and stuff, these things determine a lot of things. So these are the 3 things that these people need to focus upon. Otherwise, there's nothing else, because if those 3 things are in check, then I don't think anything can faze them.